A post that I had found online and that was also being forwarded to me was a picture being addressed as the Veteran Reserve Corps in Washington, D.C., posted by a historian slash influencer. The picture also had a link as to where the historian originally found the picture. Following the link, it takes you to the Library of Congress and addresses the picture as Hancock's Veteran Corps, 1st U.S. Volunteer Infantry. So, why did this historian, with all the correct information at hand, misaddress the picture when he posted it? Is the historical community unaware that the Veteran Reserve Corps and the Veteran Volunteer Corps are different? I decided to open my search and see how the internet addressed the veteran volunteers. With a quick Google search, I figured out that the internet too has lost the definition and understanding of the Veteran Volunteer Corps and is addressing them as the Veteran Reserve Corps. When I did find a source online that talked about the Veteran Volunteer Corps, I followed up by trying to see how they were addressing the veteran volunteers. One website addressed that the veteran volunteers had their own Corps badge. Although the badge they address is a memorial badge that is post war, the veteran volunteers were in fact given their own Corps badge. The Veteran Reserve Corps were not issued a badge. Veteran Reserve badges have surfaced with two known, but there is no known documentation that this was a normal issue, and they are believed to be private purchase. As the website continued to explain the veteran volunteers, they too confused them with the Veteran Reserve Corps and addressed the original structure of the veteran volunteers as the Invalid Corps, which they are not. Another online website addressed that Winfield Scott Hancock was put in charge of organizing the Veteran Reserve Corps. If you watched my video before this one, you would already know that Colonel Richard H. Rush organized the Invalid Corps, Veteran Reserve Corps, in May and April of 1863, well before Hancock stepped back in November of 1864. General Hancock was set to organize the veteran volunteers in November of 1864. To give a simple timeline understanding of the Invalid Corps versus the Veteran Volunteer Corps, the Invalid Corps was organized and authorized under General Order 105 in April of 1863 and changed their name to the Veteran Reserve Corps under General Order 111 of March of 1864 and disband at the end of 1869. Although the Veteran Volunteers existed from November of 1864 and lasted to July of 1866, Hancock himself only lasted in the Corps from November of 64 to February of 1865. It can be easy to believe that the name confusion started in 1864 when in early 1864 the Invalid Corps changed their name to the Veteran Reserve Corps and now allowed veterans into their corps, and in late 1864 Veteran Volunteer Corps had started, built on veteran soldiers. Some letters in my collection from the Invalid Corps soldiers address the name change, stating, "I do not belong to the Invalid Corps now, for they have changed the name and now call it the Veteran Reserve Corps." Another soldier wrote, "You made something of a mistake when you thought that we was going to be in the 1st Brigade of Veteran Reserve Corps and be stationed around Washington. Instead of being comprised of veteran regiments, it is the Invalid Corps. Their name has been changed, and they are called the Veteran Reserves." With my rambles being said, the Veteran Reserve Corps is a name change of the Invalid Corps, which started in 1863. The Invalid Corps was comprised of soldiers who had become wounded, injured, or disabled while in the service, and the Corps later accepted worthy veteran soldiers. This corps lasted from 1863 to 1869 and were in every eastern state in the Union, and each soldier signed on for a 3-year term. The veteran volunteers were comprised of veteran soldiers whose original terms of enlistment had expired. They lasted from 1864 to 1866 and were in the Washington, D.C. area, and each soldier signed on for a 2-year term. Post-war, when the Veteran Reserve Corps disbanded, states that wanted their own veteran reserve were addressed to create their own and address them as independent Veteran Reserve Corps. When the Veteran Volunteers disbanded and a state wanted their own Veteran Volunteer Corps, they were told to create their own and address them with the state's name followed by Veteran Volunteer Corps. Although very similar from 1864 on, the Veteran Reserve Corps and the Veteran Volunteer Corps are not the same. Now, don't get me started on the Sons of the Veteran Reserve.